Hello and welcome to Wine Grants, unscripted chat about the unfunded, the official podcast of the Unfunded List. I'm Dave Moss of the Moss Family Foundation and founder of the Unfunded List. With me this week is Ann Carlson. Please say hello, Ann.
Hello.
Yes, hello. It's a pleasure to have you here in the booth.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yes, and as I'm sure you and our guests are aware, we like to start every episode of the podcast off by having me read your bio out loud.
Okay.
So, Ann Carlson, Executive Director of the Colon Cancer Coalition. Ann brings more than 20 years of experience in fundraising, event planning, volunteer management, and business development to the Colon Cancer Coalition. As founder of Carlson Davis Consulting, she worked to develop and create nonprofit events and cultivate with high-level donors. Ann is an active community volunteer and serving in leadership positions on several different boards, including serving on the steering committee and chairing the membership committee for the Minnesota Cancer Alliance. As the executive director of the Colon Cancer Coalition, she's working towards positively impacting every individual she encounters. A two-time cancer survivor herself, Ann is driven and motivated to succeed in every aspect of life. And we are drinking white wine in the booth this week. Thank you very much for coming in, Ann. And in particular, thank you for your career of service, helping cancer survivors. And I want to say, I'm sure I speak for everybody listening, that we're happy that you survived your cancer.
As am I. As am I. Yeah.
My mother is a cancer survivor.
Okay.
And I have never worked for a cancer organization, and it's not really a funding priority for us.
Okay.
But it has been rewarding the few times I have been able to support cancer organizations, including your own one. In my previous job at the Public Foundation, we supported some of your media campaigns.
You did. We're
And
very grateful for that.
Those were a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool art. That's Get Your Rear in Gear.
Yep.
And Aaron Peterson, who I'm sure is listening, was an absolute pleasure to work with. I've dealt with a lot of communications directors in my time, and she was one of my favorites to work with.
Good. I will let her know. That's fabulous.
I think in general it's a really great approach that you guys have. You submitted to the inaugural round of the Unfunded List, and I want to thank you for doing so. You didn't make it.
Didn't make it. Didn't make it.
But that's not the only reason that we're doing this. It's not just to publish a list of fantasy nonprofits. There's plenty of things out there that will publish lists. If you've been on the internet lately, you've probably seen a list or two.
Oh yes.
I think we did create some value the other day. I know that some of the donate links got clicked on, and we created some value for some of the people who went up there. But everybody who applied got, and I'm the one who collated all the feedback. We were able to put together a lot of really good feedback on what were universally good proposals. We did not receive bad proposals, which was a really interesting learning for me. I did expect to receive some that were of poor quality, but I didn't, which shows to me, even more, your campaign, which I'll give you a chance to talk about in a minute, was quite very well thought out. We were happy to support it at the Public Foundation. I think there's a tremendous amount of value in it. I think that there is some confusion, around why, in general, I think every single person who provided feedback doesn't really understand why there needs to be a Colon Cancer Coalition, American Cancer Society, the National Colorectal Foundation.
Yep.
I think you were talking about some of the several others. And so, even though you did not make the list, wanted to give you the chance to come in. Because that is something, the field of colon cancer awareness and research is not the only field where that takes place. There's a lot of there are a lot of organizations in the social sector doing essentially the same thing. And I think there's a prevailing thought amongst people that there shouldn't be. Well, why would I give to you when this one exists, right? But there's a bunch of different car companies. There's more than one cola company. No one goes up to Pepsi and says, I don't understand why Pepsi has to exist.
We got Coke next door. Why are you here?
Yeah. And those they provide exactly the same product. There actually is no reason why Pepsi and Coke have to exist separately.
Coexist.
But nonprofits are businesses too, and there's a market for it, and there's things that cause that to happen. And I also know that it's true that you do work with most of the other folks working on this space, and that there's a lot of work to be done, and probably room for more than one organization. It's a big company, a big country, and everywhere in the country are people who may already have colon cancer or who might be about to get it, or some other form of cancer. So if you could talk about two things. One, please talk a little bit about the proposal that you sent in.
Yep.
Then I suppose next we'll talk about how you work with other organizations.
So we featured our Don't Miss It campaign, and really that's highlighting colon cancer is the second deadliest cancer. And we are dealing with a national health crisis. It's right behind lung. And most people are diagnosed in late stage, 6% survival rate in late stage. And we're seeing an alarming rate in the under 40 population. We're dealing with people sometimes weeks to live, months to live. And we are talking about the most preventable cancer that there is, if people would go in and get screened. So all of our messaging is really creating awareness around screening. So this was Don't Miss It. Don't miss life's important moments due to not being screened for colon cancer. Don't miss your son's preschool graduation. Don't miss your daughter's wedding. Don't miss your wedding. Don't miss any of those, whatever your moment is, don't miss it because of colon cancer. What I liked about... We're a little bit tricky. We're a national colon cancer organization based in Minneapolis, and we're in about 50 cities nationwide, 50 to 60 cities. We put on Get Your Rear and Gear events. We're the largest run-walk series in the world for colon cancer. But what we do is we're also a grant-making organization, like you. So money is raised at the local level. We develop and fund projects all across the country that will in turn increase screening rates. The Don't Miss It campaign, and I'll go into grants, have always been a little bit tricky for us because we don't have our own programs. We develop programs that are the best for that local community. So the Don't Miss It campaign was really our first national campaign out there to talk about colon cancer. It's very in your face. We've gotten very good feedback, but we've also gotten, it's too emotional, which is fine. To me, emotional, talk about it, talk to people about screening. So what I liked with the feedback, I actually valued the feedback more than I valued the money. Because when you apply for grants, no one wants to offend you. We live in this society that everyone wants to say wonderful things. And I'm like, I want to know.
I'm perfectly willing to offend you.
Yeah, perfect. Bring it on. When you create a campaign, it's you in the campaign, and you're in the little looking glass, and that's all that you see. So it was really nice. 3 or 4 of the comments were, we really like this. And I was like, it validated the work that our team had put in on that. And so that to me was huge. Okay, we're on the right track. I like that. The next feedback was, and I found it very interesting. It's the first time I've ever seen it in black and white. Why aren't you all working together? Why is there more than one of you? Why does American Cancer Society exist? Why do you exist? Aren't you all doing the same thing? And I thought that was really interesting, and it did take me back a little bit. I read it like 3 or 4 times to say, why? You're right. Why do we exist? And it kind of gets you to start thinking about your own organization. For us, when I took this job, yes, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I was diagnosed at 18 and 25. And so pretty much, and my daughter had just been born. Yeah, I was little. I was young. And
so the second one, that was last year?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And so I went to work for the American Cancer Society because I needed to I don't know, I just kind of immersed myself in the cancer world. And so I worked there, and then that got to be too big. There's too much red tape. I wanted to make a difference. I can only imagine. I wanted to raise $1 and bring that $1 back. And so I've been in this job now going on 6 years. And when I took the job, I thought, the only way I'm going to take this job is if I can work with everybody else. I have to work with all the other cancer organizations and the other colon cancer organizations. And I don't want to do anything anyone else is doing. So our group is known for playing well in everybody's sandbox. They love us because we give money. So we give money to other colon cancer nonprofits as well for their programming. Because like I said before, we don't develop our very own programs that we manage. But being that we hold these races and events, and we're getting into golf, and we do bike events now across the country, and we do it really well. We have an amazing team. We're able to be so successful with that piece. And if someone wants to fund research, they're not going to fund it through me. I don't fund research. Okay? So then we'll send them to another organization that does. Or if somebody wants to do advocacy. And in this case, advocacy is just using your voice to affect change. But in this case, it's meeting with lawmakers in D.C. So we have a group that we partner with called Fight Colorectal Cancer. We send our people to them. So we all do different things. And
How often are you sending people?
To talk to their lawmakers.
So you just described two things that.
Oh,
that
God, daily.
You're saying every day you send someone to National Colorectal for research or.
Someone, yes. Every day because we're dealing with probably 50 to 60,000 participants nationwide. Participants are survivors, people that we come in contact with. I'm here in D.C. this weekend for a conference with another colon cancer group. We're all buddies. We all get together, and the conversation is continuing, and it's only going to expand in terms of, you know what, you guys can't do that anymore because we do it. Let us do what we're good at, and you do what you're good at, so that it's almost, you've got the three arms. We do. Chris for Life does amazing conferences. So does Colon Cancer Alliance to educate providers, educate payers, educate the primary docs about what's going on, sharing research with the young onset, colon cancer. So that all needs to exist. We're very successful at what we do. So we've got kind of the event arm. People that have tried to do events might not be as successful as we are.
Well, are there other people doing 5K events around colon cancer?
Yeah. And
are they just not partnering with you? They're just
we will partner with them. So say you ran a colon cancer organization, we'll partner with you. We do the work. It's, I swear to God, our business plan. And then we give you a grant. So they love to partner with us.
Well, yes, if you're giving me a grant to do it, that's a different.
Exactly. So yes, we partner with them. A lot of organizations, we're really good at our 5Ks and our bike events. And
I haven't.
It's very grassroots, very fun.
So I think that the competition is very different in this sector than in business, right? So
Yes.
for instance, even if it was in colon cancer, right? So let's say you're running a doctor's office that provides colonoscopies. You are competing with the other doctors who provide
100%.
colonoscopies. You want more patients.
Yep.
Right? Your competition is colon cancer, not the other organizations trying to end colon cancer.
No, they're our partners.
Yeah.
We all collaborate together. Are we fighting? That was interesting because the person brought it up in the review. But dollars are scarce, and you're all fighting for the same dollars. True, but different. I'm not fighting for dollars to put on a conference or things like that. We have a hard time finding national sponsors, and we have a hard time finding grants. I 100% admit that because of the programming piece. But where they want to be involved in, and this is where we do such a good job with sponsors and fundraising, and we give them direct access to physicians and patients. And since we are so grassroots and we can really make anything happen so quickly, we're on a shoestring budget, and we've got a small staff, and we're very effective. We can give them what they want. So you can come to me and say, you know what, Ann, I want X, Y, and Z. That's what I want out of my sponsorship, or that's what I need. And we're like, okay, we'll make it work for you. So it's...
I can say from personal experience, I've had conversations with, when I was at Public, with American Cancer Society and with a couple other similar-sized organizations. And they would love the model at Public. Basically what Public does is it gets you more media for your dollar.
It's amazing.
And when we worked on 3 campaigns with you folks, and it was pretty straightforward. You told me what the budget was, I told you what you could get, and you were able to make a decision, and everything happened pretty quickly.
And you also let us tailor one when we didn't have the exact amount of money in each state, which was huge.
Well, yeah, Public, even smaller team, we were able to be, I think that's very easy to partner with.
Yep.
It was never going to work out with American Cancer Society. There were too many people there. I was, I'm an expert at figuring out who the decision maker is. I have no idea who the decision maker is at American Cancer Society. I have no idea. If there's someone listening right now who knows, just for my, I don't work at Public anymore, I just want to know, for my, just
I know I'll tell you who the decision makers there are. Yeah.
But no, it was frustrating to know that they're probably going to go off somewhere else and spend more than they have to.
Yes.
Because they're too big and too bureaucratic to take advantage of this partnership opportunity.
Yes. And almost, is it too good to be true? Is there a catch?
And just, people, the more, I obviously like to be working with, in partnership, like to be talking directly to the folks that are going to make the call. When it's
Yep.
I really don't like other people representing what I can do in the partnership.
Yep.
Internally, right? So whenever someone's like, oh, well, I'll have to run this by my board, I'm like, okay, well, I think it's unlikely I'll hear from you again. But
Yes.
And
I think it's great. I think ACS is a major player in the cancer game, and they do wonderful, wonderful things. And we partner with them on a number of levels.
It just becomes very difficult, and it's
yes.
out of my wheelhouse once you're that large.
And
I don't know how to work with groups that size.
And that's why we don't fund research. A lot of research can sit for years in a fund for a grant in waiting until someone applies to it. And you never know. Do they need $200,000, $300,000? What is it? Our money, people are dying today, every single day. So we need to make an impact now. I don't have years to wait to put money into research. Other groups do, and that is fabulous, and I will gladly send them anyone their way. Because people that want to fund research want to fund research. That is their passion, which is huge.
And I remember with the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes.
That organization, I forget which, was that
ALS.
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, right?
No, it wasn't. It was...
that was for ALS?
ALS, yeah.
Well, I forget the name of the organization. Oh, whatever.
How come we cannot remember this? And it was huge.
It was one of the biggest campaigns ever. But a lot of people who donated because
they got a lot of flack.
Because they got flack, but it's so unfair, right? They're like, I donated, and then I found out that the money's not going to research. Well, as you've pointed out pretty articulately.
But that's a disease that does need research.
It does need
Ours
research.
doesn't. Colon cancer, it does in young onset. We know how to treat it. We've got to get people in there to get screened. So it's different. Theirs does
it's a little
need
bit
it.
different. But they never claimed with that campaign, we're going to take your
I
money
know.
and we're going to fund research.
Yeah, I looked for that.
If that's what they were claiming, then everybody would have been right to be. But if
people
you
were so mad.
If you didn't look up what an organization does before you donated,
you're stupid.
You have
You're
absolutely
an idiot.
no.
Yeah. No, seriously,
Right,
you have to do that.
When you do a campaign that goes that viral, you're going to have a lot of people who give because they got called out on Facebook.
We all want the Ice Bucket Challenge.
And then
We're trying to find the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
What is the next?
Well, I read I don't want to talk entirely about the Ice Bucket Challenge, but I read a very interesting article. A mathematician, looked into it, basically determined that it did not actually create any new philanthropy dollars. People gave money that they were going to give anyway. They just gave it
to them.
Then to them.
Yep.
So
100%.
If you compare it to what they call cannibalization of dollars from other places, it probably did not create any new giving.
And the issue that I had was there was no education to go along with it.
So many people have no idea what
they
ALS
have no idea.
is.
And now we even kind of forgot what the foundation was, and it's our wheelhouse.
As someone, I do video production and other media campaigns and strategic communication work for nonprofit a lot. And now and this was true before then, now everybody thinks that they can, for nothing, create some sort of viral campaign.
They want to.
Right? And ALS did not do that for nothing. They spent about $100,000 putting that campaign together.
And it was the third time. They've tried to launch it twice
tried it a
before.
Bunch of times. I remember, so a good friend of mine, Ben Kesey, is the chairman of Invisible Children. And you may remember the Stop Coney video, the most viral video of all time. Same thing there. So they spent a lot. They are professional filmmakers who spent a lot of money making a film. And years, travel, they did it like professionals, right? Yet somehow, I talk to nonprofits all the time who think that they can find a college student with an iPhone that'll put the next Stop Coney video together, and then they'll make a bunch of money without having to actually do it professionally. That these things just sort of happen, and so that was frustrating for me.
And you never know. My daughter went viral. She did, and God, did she get hate mail? She's in college, and she did a Beyonce quiz for her boyfriend. Was and it was everywhere. She was on Entertainment Tonight. She made her boyfriend.
So it was like a trivia about Beyonce for her boyfriend?
Yeah.
That actually sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, and it went insane.
I would fail.
I mean, she was talking on radio stations in Ireland. I mean, she was everywhere. Hate emails to her. I mean, people just were so upset. She's like, it's a joke. But it's like, she was trending on BuzzFeed, I think, for 3 days. It was insane. And it's just, you never know what's going to go viral. You just don't know.
I read a little while ago, really fast. Remember with BuzzFeed, they blew up the dress. Whether it was.
Oh yeah. I never understood that.
That was
I didn't get that.
Well. It was fast. I'm colorblind, can't see blue, so both versions of the dress looked the same to me.
Sure.
And to have the whole country talking about something that I deal with on a daily basis,
Yeah.
like it never looks blue to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know how difficult it is for me to figure out like what color things are, and I also am fully aware that things can look different colors and different.
Yeah.
But like most people who are not colorblind take it as like a fact that this thing is this color.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And not that it's so every single person in America sees blue differently, and it was like we all collectively
Interesting.
realized that at the same time, and I already knew it. But
So the colorblind people saw it as blue?
well, it basically just it has to do with with the angle you're looking at it, the light
Really?
of that time, the number of rods and cones in your eyes, like
Wow.
everything. And also women see colors differently than men do. Like blue is uniquely different to every single person.
Sure. Okay.
Because your eyes are the only set of those eyes
Yep.
that have ever existed, just like your fingerprint.
Sure.
But that was not just like a bunch of that was BuzzFeed put money into making that a viral sensation.
They did?
Yes, they have very sophisticated marketing tools.
My balloon is just popped.
They can tell early on content how much interest and engagement it generates, and if it starts off early on being quite interesting, then they'll put more money behind it and they'll make sure it gets
money
seen by
like
more
how?
people.
Like just like ads, like social
When
media
you
ads?
start getting into getting into online marketing, you
Yep.
start getting into really complicated
Yep.
stuff that I've in fact
Yep.
worked in for several years. I don't really understand, but there's exchanges and lots of ways
Sure.
that placement works
Yeah,
out.
SEO
And like with Facebook, there is they can choose what they
Yep.
BuzzFeed chooses what they put on the front page,
Yep.
what they put whatever, and they know that they'll get certain reaction from certain things.
Cool.
Like people who know how to do this stuff really well make a lot of money
Yep.
because it is there's
It's
a lot
a
of value.
science.
It is. It is not something that happens just
Just
that
randomly.
does not just happen.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It
Yeah.
may have been there were some things in the beginning of the internet that went viral organically. It's
Sure.
not really something that happens anymore.
Okay.
To go back to the Colon Cancer Coalition. I remember we received after the race in Indianapolis. I got a T-shirt,
Yes.
and the public logo was on the back. And I remember all the other logos, doctors' offices that I assume
Yes.
perform colonoscopies.
Yes.
Do I guess correct? And I would think that would be that's a really good natural partnership. You're going to go in
Yep.
to a community and you're going to do an event that encourages people to sign up for colonoscopies.
Yep.
The doctors who perform colonoscopies should be paying for that.
They do. They're sponsors.
And they do,
100%.
right? So that is part of the reason. Part of the reason why I didn't want to put Colon Cancer Coalition up for Giving Tuesday.
Sure.
Because I think you've got a natural
Yeah.
funding
Through
constituency.
through sponsorship.
And it's honestly that's
interesting.
not even really
Yeah.
to me. I think they should be doing that. It's
Hun-
more, but
yep.
that's more CSR
Yep.
marketing
Yep.
than it is philanthropy to me.
Yep.
They should be, if they do it smart, they should end
Their
up.
patients
and-
are
and
there.
If it's effective, they're going to make more money.
It's
from
always
those
their marketing
sponsorships.
dollars. Yeah.
And
they're
they
partners too. They don't just give money. They do true partnerships. They do screening
They
days.
got into this for a reason.
Yep.
They care, I assume, as well.
I
don't want to make it seem
with
like it's
my
purely transactional.
with my two cancers, I've had so many surgeries. I have never met surgeons like colorectal surgeons and gastroenterologists. They care on a different level. It is, and maybe because it is such a sensitive topic, people don't go around talking about their butts and stool and diarrhea and
Speak for
things like
yourself.
that. Yeah, there you go. And me too. But it's an area people are really sensitive about talking to others about, and then also they're opening people. They're looking in people's colons, and this person is 24 years old, and there's nothing they can do. So, and it's preventable. So that they're on a whole nother level. They will do anything to partner, anything. It's just us having the time to find
they
them.
have a unique marketing. How are
Yeah.
they? If it's not partnering with your event,
Yep.
how are they going to advertise?
Exactly.
Come,
Yeah.
Let me check
Yep.
out your butt.
Yep. We have a giant inflatable colon.
I'd love to check out your.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Come on down to my office. I got fancy equipment. And
Yeah.
we'll get a real good look at it.
And they typically play really well together too. They like each other, and
I assume you have to have a sense of humor to do
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, I've worked on some pretty dour social issue campaigns and stuff, corporal punishment and some things that are
goodness.
real downers, and with some child soldier stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned, you have to have a sense of humor,
You have to.
and or you become dead inside.
Well, and it's about the butt. How do you not have a sense of humor?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all about. Oh goodness.
Well,
the things.
I will find some of those the billboard ads, and I'll make
Yeah.
sure to put them up on when I upload this
Perfect.
online. I'll put some of them
Yeah.
up there so people can look. So if you're listening at home, you should be looking at them now.
Those were put up by the Minnesota Department of Health.
They made those originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They made them, and the amount of phone calls. The best was from a gastro in Indiana. He was so upset. How offensive! Oh my gosh!
Was he offended at the lady's butt?
He was offended. Lady's butt. She's not 50. She was 50. I don't know if you know anything about Minnesota. Minnesota's top in healthcare.
That's a famous stock photo. I've actually met that woman.
Have you?
Yeah.
And you're like, and now I've seen your
she's
butt.
a stock photo actress. Yeah.
Awesome.
She's in a bunch of other ones.
And so they were offended, and I said to him, you know what? I said,
but you're right. She
will
is
you call
at least
20
50.
other people
She's
and
at least
say,
50 years
yeah,
old.
and they said that she wasn't. But I said, tell everybody else how offended you are. Talk about it. So we've used those in many states now, and yeah, I love it. We've got some new ones since you've been gone too.
I got some calls from Public that we were, because we also were working on the It's On Us campaign to prevent rape and sexual assault, and I got some comments that it was inappropriate that we were objectifying
Was that
women.
in Wichita?
And on that, no, that was, so someone, it was not anybody in Indiana.
Because we had to actually pull
It
them.
was people who saw that I had done, they were from New York.
We had to change one of the digital ads.
And it was actually someone at the UN didn't like it because they thought we were objectifying women. And what I really liked about that one is what I said is, how do you know that's a woman?
There you go.
You from that ad, you
yep.
absolutely do not know that is a woman.
That is very true.
And I'm sorry, we're trying to raise awareness, and in advertising,
Yep.
Sexy legs and butts gets eyes.
Yep.
And we needed eyes on it.
We
And
did.
I have no moral objection.
Nope, and it's
to
not
doing
the
that.
sexy cancer, and no one has any problems with boobs.
Because when you're putting billboards up, you're not competing with the other cancer organizations. That's when you start competing with Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
Exactly.
And they have no problem using butts and boobs and stuff in
you
their
just
ad.
need people to look for a quick
I need
second.
people to look up there so
and
they can
that's,
think, so they
that's
run in the
right.
race and get and get their colonoscopy.
Most
so we can
definitely.
get those polyps removed.
Get those polyps out. And I've had 6 colonoscopies, and they are
I've had one.
not bad. And how did yours
I've had
go?
one.
You're not 50. Why'd you have one? Family history?
Yeah, I have family history, and I was doing the campaign, and I
Hey,
have health
look at you.
I have health insurance, so I said, hey, I'll go in there.
Wow.
And I had a couple other factors that
Sure.
contributed to me wanting to go in, and I got insurance.
Yeah.
It's preventable.
Yep.
And now I know it was not as bad. People had told me it was gonna be really bad. I'd say the preparation was the worst part. That beverage.
Yep.
But compared to I know I don't have colon cancer.
Yeah, isn't that and 10 years? You
yeah,
don't have to go in for 10 years. There's no
Well,
other
he told
test.
He told me I don't have to go back till I'm 50, which is
Awesome.
more than 10 years
There
from
you
now.
go. And there's no other test that does that. That says, you know what, you're good to go. See you in this number of years.
Yeah. This has been really great. I want to talk a little bit about just in general your career in fundraising.
Sure.
You've done events, 5Ks, worked with donors of all sizes.
Yes.
A lot of the folks who listen to the podcast, apply to the Unfunded List, have a lot less experience in that. And I just want to spend the last few minutes here.
Sure.
Just sort of talking about how, what's your general advice to, clients who come to you or folks like that for how, obviously there's a lot of different things one might fundraise for. And I pointed out, the doctor's offices that do colonoscopies are great. Not everybody has a natural constituency like that. So what is your general advice for, finding your funding sources?
For me, the biggest thing for any nonprofit is to hire not so much a development team, that's separate. Hire a grant consultant. They are worth their weight in gold. They know how to put together the proposals. That is all that they do. And a lot of times they can just work at home and you give them, backgrounder info and they put it together and do it on your behalf. That to me is critical. Director of development is different. And that's, I used to be in that. And that's hard because that's all about relationships.
Me too, yes.
And you can't have relationships over the internet. That's where you really have to schmooze, get to know the people. You're in D.C., so it's different.
The internet is a complement to your relationship.
Yes, exactly. And to do the background research on who are you, who am I meeting, and doing all that. But what the internet is great at, there are books out there, lists of foundations. That's huge. Who connects with you? There's always some family foundation that is going to give all of our money to eye care. Well, you know what? If you run a nonprofit for eye care, you need to find her. There is always someone out there that's going to donate to you. It's just you have to take the time to do the research. But to me, a grant person is critical. I'm not as big on an entire development team. Sometimes they can be many layers of a lot of money, paying them a lot of money, and not getting a lot in. And that's an issue. Every single person in the nonprofit needs to be bringing in money on a daily. Everybody. Erin, director of our communications, she brings in money. You know what I mean? Everybody has to contribute to the success of that nonprofit. But it's really doing your research, reaching out, who connects with you, asking questions.
I'd say you guys are lucky you have an ED who has experience with fundraising. Which isn't
that's
true for
my
everybody.
background.
So you don't necessarily need to hire a director of development.
Well, it's like we had Jesse Ventura was our governor of Minnesota for a while. He wasn't equipped to be governor, but he did surround himself by the right people. So even if you're not equipped, if you don't have each moving piece, a lot of executive directors come from public health. I've had to learn public health, and now I'm very passionate about it. You got to hire the right people. It's all about your team, and they have to all do different things and complement each other.
I think that's very good. So you mentioned something like. One of the things I find with those foundations, right? Foundations have two official ways of approaching them. One is they have an open process. I pick on the Ford Foundation sometimes.
Yes, we've applied to them many times.
Which is so we've seen the same rejection letter. I think Ford does great considering the way the universe is. But they reject over 40,000 proposals every year.
And you get no feedback.
And give no feedback.
Same
to all
letter.
40,000 of them. But that's what happens if you're going to be the Ford Foundation and have an open proposal process that anyone that's quite democratic and I applaud them for that. That anybody can apply to the Ford Foundation. Most foundations that isn't true. You can't. It's an invitation only. Yeah,
United Health Group is like that.
How do you get invited?
You find I read a lot of annual reports. It sounds weird, but I do.
I read a lot of annual reports.
I read a lot of 990s.
I read a lot of 990s.
I love reading 990s.
Page 11 of the 990s.
It actually, it's good and bad because some of them I'm like, you only give what to the community? So it can put me in a bad mood.
Yeah, usually 990s piss me off.
Yes, yeah, it's a tough one. It's kind of tough. But I read the annual reports, and also when I go to galas or events, I always look at who's sponsoring. There's always family foundations on there. And I
never
ask
walk
people,
past a donor wall.
No, exactly.
Never walk past it.
Take a picture.
Even if it's not your issue area.
And don't be so say there's a United Health Group's a perfect example. And am I still trying to get in there? Yes. Find people that you know that work there. And start the conversation. Could it take years? Of course it's going to take years. But start the conversation with some sort of contact you have at the organization. And invite them to things. Tell them what you do. Engage them. It's really, you got to start the relationships at the ground level. You can't be money hungry. You can't be going into every party going, okay, who's got money here?
You don't want to be that person.
That's why I got out of fundraising. For that exact reason. Every event I went to, I was like,
you can do. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it and be a person.
Yes.
But that is a difficult thing to do. If you can't do it and be a person, then you are not in the right profession.
Yeah, you get burnt out easily.
I can do it. I can. Even if someone can't help me out, I've learned through experience that I don't know all the ways that they can help me out, and I could be wrong about that.
Yes, 100%.
So treat everybody like you would, but be aware of who the most important people in the room are. Do your research beforehand. Make sure you know who's going to be there. Make sure you connect with the people that you need to connect with, right?
And remember their names. And introduce yourself and talk about. People have a hard time asking for money because they think it's for themselves. It's not for you. You are raising money because you've got a good cause. Sing it from the darn rooftops. Tell them what you're doing with your money and find the people to connect with. It kind of blows my mind how people can't ask for money. And I'm like, it is not for you. You are doing this to save lives, to, have clean water, have clean energy, whatever your mission is. It's all about your mission.
We received several proposals this round where the proposal was quite good and the problem was on the ask. This is very common because it stems from they know what the program is, but they don't necessarily know how to ask for money.
Oh, funny.
So it was this really great proposal. Explains what the program is. It gets to the end, and that's why we're asking for $100,000 to hire an executive director.
Oh.
And I'm like, no one wants to give that.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, you're not asking for money for yourself, right? But you spent 2 pages explaining a great program, and then you asked for money for yourself.
Oh.
Right? Say, we need money to save X people or do these things.
But at least on that note,
everyone knows the executive director is
feedback.
there and gets, Well, we include that.
Yes.
I said your ask should be, we should.
Which is perfect because it's such a learning tool for them. And again, that goes back to hire a grant writer.
And also, we have, I have said that some of the people on the evaluation committee run small invitation-only foundations, and I know a lot of, especially some of any millennial who runs their family foundation. I probably know them, all 12 of us. So we're hopefully in future rounds, and it certainly happened in this round. Try to help people get through that invitation-only barrier.
Great,
right? And hopefully the fact that I think some of the foundation folks I've talked to. They like the fact that I'm giving feedback to.
Huge.
They can't. I don't think so. Like what Ford's currently doing isn't great, but I also don't think I don't think the solution is for Ford to start giving feedback to everybody. How would they do that? You're going to give feedback to 44,000 people you just rejected? They don't have time for it.
No.
You
want genuine feedback.
Send all of those proposals to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Well,
sure.
If Ford's going to have to pay me $50 a pop, but if they do, I'll hire some program officers, and we'll do a really good job.
Because it is, and again, and I will say it again, it's to me, the feedback was more valuable than the money. And it sounds like such a strange thing to say, but we do live in an era where people are scared to offend somebody. Offend me. Tell me what was wrong so that I can grow and change. Because you're in a silo. You know what you know. No. We don't know what we don't know.
And the reaction from everybody else has been quite the same.
Good.
No one was offended by the feedback.
Good.
Because and in fact, I've been in the same I've been in the same situation. I've had proposals I want feedback on, and I've had people who just tell me it's great. I'm like, well, if it's great, it would have been funded.
Yeah, exactly.
So
tell me what I need to work on.
You just did, I actually find that offensive. If you're just going to tell me it's great and you secretly know it's not, because I'm not like again, it's nice to get applause and recognition for the work that you're doing.
Yep.
But that is something that people who do this work want. That is definitely true. The main reason. The thing that unites all of the people who do this, whether it's colon cancer or giving media grants or preventing rape or whatever, the main reason they get into this work is to support that cause.
Yep,
right?
Make a difference.
They would sacrifice some of the personal recognition to save some lives.
It's not about us.
Right? Or it's on us.
Yep, it's on us, not about us. I like that.
All right. I thank you very much.
Yes, this was great.
This was lovely having you by. I hope that you never have a grant proposal rejected again, but if that you do, you will you'll send it to us, and I hope that I get a chance to run in a colon cancer 5K sometime.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I don't have to have a colonoscopy for a couple more decades.
Thanks for getting screened.
Before we go, what are the criteria that anybody who's listening at home so they should help them figure out if they should get a colonoscopy or not?
Really, start talking to your family. If there's any family history, people do not like to talk about it. It's their butts. It's very, very uncomfortable. Talk to your family. A lot of people mimic stomach cancer, and it was actually colon cancer. So talk to your family if you are having any changes in your bowel habits. And my boyfriend hates it when I say this, but I say take pictures of your poop. Engage your doctor. Your stool is a huge sign of your health. It tells you, am I eating enough fruits and vegetables? What is going on? If it's a diarrhea, loose, mucousy stool, I take a picture of it and I show my gastro. I just do. And they're able to say, hey, have you been eating a bunch of fries and burgers? Well, maybe that's why your stool's that way. If you've been eating healthy, you know what? We need to look into it a little bit more and kind of figure out what's going on here. Know your body. Know when something's off. And be an advocate for your health. No one is going to say to you, hey, Dave, you need to take care of yourself. You need to do this. You need to do it. You know what's right for you. To be active and healthy and eat right.
No one else is going to take pictures of your poop.
No one else is going to take pictures of your poop. Do not drop your phone in the toilet. But really, really knowing your body, knowing when something's off.
Those cannot get wet.
I thought they could get wet now, though. I think they can.
Don't say that. My experience is that they cannot get wet.
Oh, no, maybe you can replace it now if it got wet.
Maybe.
I think that's
in general.
But in general,
great product,
they should
great
not.
Company.
Yes.
The tech does not like getting wet.
No, it does not like getting wet. So really just knowing your body, knowing when something's wrong, engaging your providers. If somebody doesn't give you an answer that you don't like, go to another doctor. It is you shop around for shoes. You go to more than one place. Go to more than one doctor. Engage them. You have one life here. And again, colon cancer is so preventable.
And in general, even without the warning signs, men at 40 should be
50.
At 50.
The screening age is 50 unless there's family history or your parents had polyps. But again, signs, symptoms, loose stools, back pain. Sometimes people lose weight, night sweats. Get in and see your doctor.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you again.
Thank you.
It was lovely to have you here. As always, I want to thank our host, The Lookout DC, which is a beautiful co-working community for filmmakers located in the Adams-Morgan neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and good luck with your funding.